Good morning. It's Monday morning, and I am excited to talk about my first topic, and that is the remote pricing that seems to be something that is acceptable and normal in business. And when we started back about 5 years ago, we were doing commercial laundry equipment and we were working with clients up north. And of course, when you go up there and you find out what people are paying in laundromats and so forth, you start going, wow, it's people pay more up here than they do back along the Trans-Canada Highway. So we realized, okay, there was more money to be made. So we did our pricing and we figured out our costing and decided that it would be probably a 30 to 40% price difference. So we had this pricing in effect for about 6 months, and we were quoting and seemed okay, and everybody was willing to pay it. And something I discovered that I asked the question one day to the sales manager, Chris, and I said, Chris, what is our reasoning behind the different price lists that we have? And came up, well, that seems to be what the market bears. For those of you who are business owners, you would recognize that term. Capitalism certainly says that if the market bears it, in other words, if that is what people are used to paying and they are willing to pay it, then the market bears that, and that's where you would set your pricing. If it doesn't bear it, you have to adjust your costing and you have to quote lower until the customer or client can justify that, and that's how pricing is set. Rarely is it set on costing, it's set on what the market bears. I had started to ask the question, why would we do that? If something costs us the same here, then why wouldn't we just sell it for the same price as we would sell it here? And just, shipping costs more to go up north, and we recognize that. So I made the decision back about 4 years ago that we would just, what something costs to get it here in Winnipeg or along the Trans-Canada Highway is what the market bears here. Therefore, that's a fair and equitable price. Let's just sell it for that. Now, thankfully, we figured that out prior to working with our First Nations clients, because it makes me now feel better when I sleep at night to realize that the more we dealt with our clients up north, the more we realized that this principle of market bearing something is rampant. When you find out that there are less people that are bidding on something or can supply a client with something, it just somehow the price goes up. And I know it may surprise some of you and it may not surprise some of you that we discovered hundreds of percent differences in what we were willing to quote something based on just what is a fair markup price to stay in business, pay your employees. They can go on vacation. You can go on a vacation. The company doesn't go broke. You're able to fix your buildings and fix your vehicles and stay in business. And you don't need to tack another 400%, 500%, 75% on top just because the market bears it. I don't know about you, but I've traveled along the Trans-Canada Highway in a snowstorm, or I've gone out through Saskatchewan, and you're stuck somewhere, and as you pull into town, you can literally see the prices on the hotels going up. And I got to tell you, nothing ticks me off more than, because people are now desperate, that business feels that it's okay to mark up the rooms. Why? Because the market bears it. The demand is great. You won't have enough rooms. People will pay whatever they have to. And I don't know about you, but I make a mental note at that point. I will never stay at that place unless I am absolutely desperate again. And that's just bad for business. And so I started to ask some people, so maybe if you're stuck in a storm, because personally, if somebody is in need, if you have somebody that comes to you and they say, look, I'm kind of desperate, need some milk for my kid. You go, you don't have any other milk? No. Oh, well, this is worth 4 times that now. Personally, we would say, tell you what, I will give you that milk. You don't have to pay me for it. But go to business and something in our brains change. And we go, oh, you're desperate. Oh, well, no. So you don't have any other options? No, we haven't been able to find this anywhere. Excellent. Well, then your price is. And that's where that price gouging comes in. And one thing that we have loved at Principal is being a part of the justice that takes place in getting rid of somebody that's a crook. Somebody who is just taking advantage. And I would like to challenge some of you business people out there to consider your costing, consider your percentage that you need to make, consider whether or not you need to mark it up that extra 50%, 100%. Just because there's a tragedy or something that takes place is not the opportunity to somehow set yourself up for life. And believe me, we've seen it. It's around. And I have a friend who's in farming, and this last year, hay was a terrible price. Or terrible, you couldn't find it. Farmers were calling him from all over for their cattle. They were desperate. They needed his hay. And so when the question was asked, well, so what will the price be? I know it was this last year. What will it be this year? There's great demand for it. And I can tell you with great, joy that my friend says, no, it'll be exactly the same as last time. My costs haven't gone up. There's no reason I would charge you more. Now tell me this as a business owner. Will those people, those clients, not come back year after year to a business like that? Rather than having that within them going, I can't handle this. Like, I'll never go back to that guy. Yeah, my cows need some hay this year, but I will never go there again when there's it's good business sense. And I would like to challenge all of us to consider that even in our personal lives. When given the opportunity to do something that's right, and it's something that helps you to sleep at night, it's something that makes your heart feel good, versus something that just sees an opportunity, seizes it, and just milks it for everything that it's worth. Seriously. What kind of people do we want to be? Well, within our company at Principal, that's a question we ask all the time. What our motto again, right, is helping to make things the way it ought to be. And you say, well, yeah, that's the way it ought to be, is that you don't gouge people when they don't have other options. And so we go, yeah, okay, that's what we'll do. So there's a bit of a challenge for you, and I hopefully I get some conversation going in other venues, and people will continue to discuss this, but that's something that I wanted to share with you today. So thank you very much. Have a great day.